35%. 35%. That's the percentage of Americans 20 years old or older who are considered obese. There's another 34% of Americans who are considered overweight. Altogether, that is 69% of Americans who are considered, at the very least, overweight. Now, all this is according to the CDC, which updated its webpage concerning obesity in America on 30 September 2015. Diet and fitness continue to be a hot topic, and more specifically, the proper way to do both. Many people fail to incorporate all facets of both of these, which include eating well, cardiovascular exercise, and the most overlooked is resistance training in some fashion. So with 2/3 of Americans, it is likely that everyone knows at least one person who would be considered overweight, even if that is themselves. I personally have struggled with weight and fitness throughout most of my adult life. That's about 15 years. Now, through that time, I've gathered knowledge by pursuing it through personal study, college courses, or talking and consulting with nutritionists. And I believe that resistance training, or adding resistance training to diet and fitness, can increase the benefits over just doing cardio, or worse, not doing anything at all. So being overweight has a whole variety of deleterious and harmful effects to the human body. According to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, in a report from July of 2012, being overweight is closely related with coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, sleep apnea, just to name a few. So to illustrate this, think about a truck that is completely laden down so the springs and axles, shocks are all bending and about to give way. For that vehicle to move down the road puts an extra amount of wear and tear on the engine and all the other mechanical pieces of the vehicle. That's the same way your body is when it's overweight. A whole lot of wear and tear on the internal pieces, such as your heart and then your joints. So at the same time, think about a saw that might be dull. If you sharpen one edge of the saw blade, only one side, and you try to cut, it's going to cut crooked or curve and then eventually bind, making it useless. So if you sharpen both edges, it'll cut straight and true. Now that's the same way with your physical well-being. If you focus on only one side, be that diet or exercise, or not incorporate all different types of exercises, your body won't be living up to its full potential. So I ask you, are you taking care of your machine? My personal suggestion is to incorporate resistance training into your lifestyle. Now, by resistance training, that doesn't necessarily mean picking up a whole lot of heavy weights all the time. It can be picking up a bunch of light weights a bunch of times. It can be body weight exercises or using bands, something that will stress the muscles other than just in a cardiovascular fashion. So resistance training actually directly addresses overweight and obese issue. Unlike cardiovascular exercise, resistance training burns during the exercise, afterwards in the recovery phase, and then it continues to build muscle, which in turn will burn more calories, which will compound over time for better calorie loss. A lot of people have an objection to building or to exercising with resistance training or weights. And that objection is, I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Lindsay Emery addresses that in her article, 4 reasons women shouldn't fear the weight room. And that was updated 10 September of 2014 and is available on health.com. So that is a little bit of a greater concern for women than it is for men. However, not all men really want to look like the Governor in his bodybuilding prime. Simply put, it just doesn't happen that way for everybody. However, there are a lot of good options to incorporate weight training or resistance training into your physical regimen that will stress the body without adding immense pounds of muscle. However, choosing not to adopt weight training into your lifestyle could have adverse implications in the future. Mayo Clinic has an article from February of 2013 that covers bone density. In that article, it states that bone density decreases with age at a greater rate than the bone is replaced. That will eventually lead for the bones to become weak and brittle, and breaks become more and more difficult to overcome and recover from when you get older. Think about the 65-year-old person who falls down, breaks a hip, and never walks again, fades away to nothing, lying in a hospital bed. However, on the flip side, outlined in a January 2015 article by Jody Braverman titled 13 Benefits of Weightlifting No One Tells You About, the benefits are plentiful. On the physical side, they range from fighting osteoporosis to lowering the risk of diabetes due to a better metabolism. There are also psychological effects such as fighting depressive thoughts and a greater mental fortitude that is derived from pushing yourself to improve. Better health, better mental function, increased happiness through a sense of accomplishment, higher self-esteem stemming from lowered weight. That all sounds pretty good to me. So if you're not taking steps to improve your health, you should. And resistance training is beneficial and fulfilling way to do it. Don't be part of the 69%. Find a trainer, find a gym, find a friend, start lifting, and enjoy life.